I wake up and I barely recognize the person staring back at me in the mirror. The face is familiar, but the eyes carry a hollow I don't remember having before. It's like someone slowly chipped away at who I used to be until there was just a shadow left. I move through the motions of life like an actor on a stage, repeating lines and routines I barely understand anymore. Every day feels like I'm slipping further away from myself, from any version of me that ever felt real. There's a strange kind of numbness in not knowing who you are, like waking up in a foreign body trapped inside a borrowed skin. I ask myself, what happened? When did the pieces scatter? When did the familiar dissolve into something alien? I scroll through memories, and it's like watching a documentary about someone else's life. There's a gap where the feeling should be, a blankness beneath the surface of moments that once meant something. The laughter, the pain, the hopes, they all feel distant, disconnected from the person I am now. It's like my identity has fractured, splintered into fragments that don't fit together. Sometimes I wonder if I'm still here at all, or if I'm just an echo of someone who used to be me. I want to reach out to that old version, to reclaim whatever was lost, but the distance feels infinite. The world outside doesn't help. It feels too loud and too fast, like a storm that keeps roaring and pulling me under. Everyone seems to be rushing somewhere, chasing something, and I'm stuck standing still, watching it all pass by in a blur of faces and noise. The routines that once gave life some shape now feel hollow and meaningless. Wake up, eat, work, pretend, repeat. There's no script for the feeling of not belonging in your own skin. No instructions on how to reclaim your soul when it feels like it's been drained. The mirror becomes a reminder not just of who I see, but of who I've lost. Sometimes I catch myself staring into space, caught between the past and the present, trying to find a thread to hold on to. But the thread slips away, and I'm left floating in a void where nothing feels real. The disconnect stretches into my relationships, too. I smile at friends, but the warmth is missing. I speak, but the words feel rehearsed and hollow. The connections that used to anchor me now feel like lifelines slipping through my fingers. I'm surrounded by people, but I'm more alone than ever. It's a strange loneliness, that the absence of company, but the absence of presence. When you don't recognize yourself, it's hard to be present for anyone else. There are moments when the old feelings break through the sharp pang of sadness, the flicker of hope, the craving for something real, but they're fleeting. The numbness rushes back to fill the spaces. I think about how this world demands that we perform happiness and confidence and strength. That vulnerability is weakness, and confusion is failure. I'm tired of pretending, tired of wearing a mask I don't even remember putting on. The performance is exhausting, and yet it's the only way I know how to keep going. And maybe that's the cruelest part, the realization that you can live years in a body that no longer feels like yours, in a mind that no longer recognizes its own thoughts. The world moves forward, indifferent to your internal collapse, and you're left trying to catch up to a self that keeps slipping away. The distance between who you are and who you were grows every day, and the bridge feels impossible to cross. I don't know if I'm fading or transforming, losing myself, or becoming someone new, but the uncertainty itself is another weight I carry, a weight that presses down on every breath. The hardest part is the silence inside, the absence of the familiar voice that once told me I mattered, that I was enough. It's replaced by a quiet doubt that echoes louder than any noise outside. And in that silence, I ask myself if I'm broken beyond repair, or if the brokenness is what makes me real. Maybe the cracks are where the light should come in, but right now, it feels like all I see is darkness. The kind of darkness that doesn't promise rest or peace, only more emptiness. I want to scream into the void that I'm still here, that I want to come back to myself, but the echo that returns is hollow and faint. Sometimes I wonder if anyone feels this way, or if I'm trapped alone in this unfamiliar skin. The thought that I might be alone in this detachment terrifies me more than the detachment itself. I reach for something, anything that feels tangible, but the world keeps shifting beneath my hands. It's like trying to grasp smoke or hold water in cupped palms. And yet, despite everything, there's a small flicker that won't go out. A stubborn piece of me that refuses to disappear completely. It whispers that maybe this feeling of loss is part of something larger, a transformation waiting to happen, even if I can't see it yet. Maybe not recognizing myself is the first step toward becoming someone new. Maybe the detachment is a breaking open, painful and slow, but necessary. I want to believe that beyond this alienation is a chance to find a truer self, something raw and unfiltered by expectations and performance. But belief is hard when every day feels like a battle with a shadow that isn't mine, when every reflection feels like a stranger's face looking back, when the world moves on without waiting for me to catch up. So for now, I live in the in-between, suspended between loss and possibility, between a past self that seems like a dream and a future self I can't yet name. I don't know who I'll find when I wake up tomorrow, or if I'll recognize the person I am then. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the search itself is what keeps us alive, even when everything else feels lost. The mornings feel heavier now, as if the weight of not knowing who I am presses down on my chest before I even open my eyes. Sometimes I lie still, staring into the darkness of my room, waiting for a sign that the person beneath the surface is still there somewhere. But the silence answers only with more silence, a void echoing the absence of certainty and belonging. The world outside the window keeps moving, bright lights, loud sounds, endless chatter, while I feel frozen in a moment that stretches endlessly. Trapped in a limbo between who I was and who I might become. I catch glimpses of myself in the reflection of a store window or the polished surface of a phone screen, and the face that looks back is familiar yet distant, like a photograph of someone I used to know. There's a numbness there, a void where feelings should be. The eyes lack fire, the smile feels forced. It's like I'm watching a play and I forgot my lines halfway through. I wonder if anyone else feels like this, or if it's just me, a lost soul wandering through a maze of hollow interactions and meaningless routines. The irony is that in a world more connected than ever, I feel disconnected from everything. Social media feeds flood my screen with snapshots of happiness, curated moments of perfection, people performing joy and success. And here I am, feeling like an imposter in my own life, unable to match the energy, the enthusiasm, the ease of those smiling faces. The performance has become exhausting, not just theirs, but mine too, pretending to be someone who belongs, someone who is whole, someone who isn't slowly unraveling inside. This sense of alienation spills into relationships. Conversations become a series of rehearsed lines, polite smiles, surface level exchanges that fail to bridge the widening gap between me and others. I long for real connections, something unfiltered, messy, human, but those moments are rare and fleeting. Most people seem content to keep dancing around the edges, afraid to look too closely or to reveal too much. Vulnerability is treated like a weakness, and honesty is replaced by curated personas, carefully crafted to fit expectations. Sometimes I feel like a ghost, wandering through the lives of others without truly participating. I'm there physically, but absent emotionally. The laughter doesn't reach me, the joys don't resonate, the pain feels muted, as if filtered through a screen that dulls every sensation. I crave presence, but presence feels like a language I've forgotten how to speak. I want to rip off the masks, my own and everyone else's, and sit in the raw, uncomfortable truth of being human. But the fear of rejection, judgment, and loneliness keeps me locked behind a wall of performance. There's a paradox in wanting to disappear and to be seen at the same time. I want to vanish from this world that feels so alien and exhausting, but I also want someone to notice the cracks beneath the surface, to see past the facade and reach out with understanding. It's a lonely limbo court between the desire for isolation and the need for connection. The harder I try to find myself, the more elusive I become, slipping through my own grasp like water. I think about how we're all shaped by stories told by society, by culture, by the people around us. But when those stories don't fit who we are or who we want to be, we end up fractured. We wear masks, not just to hide, but to survive. We perform roles that feel scripted by external forces, losing the thread of our own narrative in the process. And somewhere along the way, the I we once knew fades into a question mark. Maybe that's why waking up feels like a confrontation between the person I remember and the person I've become, between the dreams I once had and the reality I live now, between hope and despair. It's a silent battle waged inside, fought in moments of quiet reflection and sudden overwhelm. And the hardest part is not knowing the outcome, not knowing if I'll find my way back or if this is what it means to lose yourself in a world that demands you be everything but yourself. But even in this fog of detachment, there is a faint pulsar, reminder that beneath the numbness, beneath the performance, something still flickers. It might be fragile, it might be hidden, but it is there. It is the part of me that still wants to belong, still wants to be real, still hopes for a day when waking up won't feel like losing a part of myself. That flicker is the reason I keep breathing, keep trying, keep searching. Maybe not recognizing yourself isn't the end, but the beginning. Painful clearing away of old skins to make room for something new. Maybe this alienation is a call to rediscover what it means to be truly present in a world that often feels unreal. Maybe the journey back to self is messy and slow and filled with doubt, but it is ours to take. So I wake up again tomorrow, uncertain and uneasy. I look in the mirror and search for a trace of who I used to be or who I might still become. I reach out to the world, hesitant but hopeful, because even if I don't recognize myself yet, I refuse to let go of the search, and maybe that is enough to keep moving forward.